I was looking forward to seeing Grand Prismatic. They say the Grand Prismatic Spring is one of the most colorful sights in the world. A kaleidoscope of blues, oranges, and reds straight out of a science fiction novel. But this morning, Mother Nature had other plans. The fog hangs thick, like a curtain drawn over a stage, and the spring itself is hidden somewhere beneath a veil of steam. This morning, Denise and Rebecca are here with me, braving the cold and damp, and looking at me, probably questioning why we're out here so early, squinting at what we can't see. There's kind of something poetic about this, isn't there? The beauty of what's obscured. This place doesn't owe us its colors. It doesn't perform on command. It exists on its own terms, unapologetically wild, with thermal pools heated to nearly 200 degrees Fahrenheit and steam rising like ghostly exhalations from the earth. The vivid hues we're missing this morning, well, they're the work of thermophiles, heat-loving microorganisms that paint the water's edge in vibrant streaks of life. And here we are, 3 humans bundled up marveling at the fog instead of the colors. Yet there was something still very magical about this place. There's a quiet power in this scene, the kind of beauty that doesn't shout out or sparkle, but whispers, demands patience. The fog wraps us in its arms, softening the edges of the world, and perhaps the edges of ourselves. It's a reminder that not everything worth seeing can be captured in full, and not every story unfolds on our schedule. Sometimes, the things we can't see teach us the most about how to look. And for a moment, as the mist swirls and the steam dances, I can't help but feel that this might be even better than the postcard version. So we got an early start this morning. We're at the main Grand Prismatic boardwalk walk, and we are being treated with some serious atmosphere this morning. Walked over the main bridge, and God, it looked beautiful. All around us, it just keeps changing. Look at that behind me. Steam. I'm in the fog. Here comes mommy in her hood.
I want to see another crow having a little facial. Just like.
So can I insert that into the vlog?
Yeah, I'll send
What
it
did
to
you find yesterday?
I was watching Old Faithful, and there's a geyser to the left of it that's not Old Faithful, but it's near it. And I look on the edge, like the precipice of the edge, and I'm like, what's that little black thing? And I take out my camera and I zoom in it, and it's a raven just sitting there. And it was sitting there for like 30 minutes, just like basking in the steam. I kept saying it was getting a facial.
Think he was enjoying the warm on his little face?
I think he was, based on what the woman at the restaurant said earlier. They like their steam. This is cool.
And here's what that looked like. This is not what to do.
Oh, now someone else is getting out. Idiot from us.
Look at him looking around.
Leave him alone. Jeez. Respect the wildlife. You're in your home. I feel so bad. He feels trapped now because there's 2 people behind him and there's people in front of him.
This would fucking make my day to see this big old animal charge these 2. All right, just for the record, they gave me a little bit of money off, but this is
part of the construction that they didn't tell us about at the Snow Lodge. Thanks for the small amount of money off, but would I have stayed here if I knew it was under construction? I don't think so. I just want to say that I'm not one to do reviews. In fact, I don't think I've ever done a hotel review, ever. And although they gave us, it was a nice gesture. Where are we putting this bag in the back? It's a nice gesture to give us a little bit of money off. I'd say she gave me 30% off the first night. You're gonna have to see some of this construction going on. They meant well, they just didn't do well. So,
All right, we're good.
what was your biggest complaint about this? It wasn't really the visual, right? It was, what
For
was
me,
it?
it wasn't the visual. It was the noise. There was a lot of noise.
A lot of the exits were blocked off, so it was a little bit harder to get places.
Yeah,
Like
it
a
was-
lot of the exits were like emergency exit only because it exited onto a construction site. So you were kind of funneled into only a couple exits, and it was harder to get to all the other places outside. And on top of it, a lot of the staff weren't. I feel like they should have been over accommodating, and they weren't. Like, Mom didn't like her dinner. They never even asked if she wanted something else. They were standing in the middle of the walkway that was already narrow because there was scaffolding.
Yeah,
it
it felt like
seemed
we
like
were
they
go-
had no knowledge
There's no
that it's
customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even really for if they didn't have construction. It wouldn't have been acceptable customer service to me even without the construction, and I think that they should have really gone above and beyond because of the construction.
And ramped it up, yep.
And it's just like the core idea that the room is normally, I'm just going to round up and say it's normally $500 a night. It shouldn't still be $500 if you're not getting the same breadth of experience that you're getting when there's no construction.
Absolutely.
If you're getting less costs less. So it should cost less.
See, it's not just me complaining. You know?
No.
It's
And I'm normally not one to complain.
And I'm not
the
either. I've
first
never
one to-
done-
I'm the first one to be like, well, it's okay, blah, blah. But like that, it's like, just, that's a lot of money.
And
I
this
have
might be
never
the
done a
first
hotel
Google review I write, because I never write Google reviews, but I think it's worth somebody else planning their trip coming here to know exactly what they're going to get.
That's a good point. That's what I was going to say. I've never done a hotel review either, but I will certainly leave this in the video. And if you think I'm lying, check out some of the scenery on the way out of here.
So it was time to head north, head out of the Old Faithful Lodge area. And just for some clarity, we would probably stay there again. I was just hoping to get a little bit more of a discount, based on the fact that most of it was under construction or renovation of sorts. It's still a great place to stay, because the alternative is to stay in another part of the park or over in West Yellowstone, which is a bit of a drive. Probably find some reasonable lodging, certainly more dining options over there. By the way, the cat is on my table, as she tends to follow me all over the house. Can I finish this voiceover here? Anyway, we're driving through Yellowstone. It's a bit of a drive to where we were going to go. We were heading up north to eventually stay up in Gardner, I believe. But we did stop at, I can't remember exactly where, I'll show you on the map. And we got a little bit of an education into antlers, of all things. It's a very entertaining chat about antlers of all shapes, sizes, and varieties, from antelopes to deer to rams. It's pretty cool. And here's a few visuals from that drive. As you can see, the sky was pretty today. Lots of clouds. Can you imagine this place in the winter? Or the fall? I'll be back. Anyway, where are we heading now? Oh yeah, the antlers.
we're giving wildlife plenty of room, how much room should we give bison and elk?
No, because it's made out of keratin. I don't think
You can almost like
snap it, yeah.
Put it on your head.
Thanks for yeah, that's crazy.
So we're in a little ring road here. It's got all these waterfalls on. We're at a place now called Inspiration Point, I think it is. This is amazing. Check this out. Are we gonna do a family selfie?
Yeah.
Hi, they're making room for me. Here we go, family selfie.
Don't fall. Oh, those are great pictures.
This is Dad before he had his nose surgically removed from the cancer. So this rim keeps going. I thought we were just gonna stop and have a quick look-see, but Denise and Rebecca look pretty energized. They're way ahead of me in this pass. Every time you come around an opening, a natural framing for the shot, obviously with the trees, but you just get a different scene. You get a little bit more of the river, and Yellowstone has such a variety of its topography is like nowhere else, you know? From geysers to waterfalls to canyons. What do you think?
look at this. Careful.
We'll die.
Come by the rock.
What'd you find?
Look. We're
It's
on
like a
top of the
freaking
white
moon
slide.
slide.
Wow, want to go for a toboggan ride?
No.
All right, so we went to this place called, what's the name of it?
I don't know. I was asleep.
Name right below. Inspiration Point in
Yes.
Inspiration Point on the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone.
the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. We went past the fourth mob of people to an area that says oversized parking for RVs, and we kind of parked here. And we walked up, there's a whole ridge that goes up, and there was nobody here. A couple of people maybe. It's worth a shot. Check out these shots from there as he fake trips. Let me get a picture of the sign here before we go to the images. Right here.
So we've been stopped now for about 3.5 hours. Not that long. I'm exaggerating. It's been a while though, about a half hour. Apparently there's I can see cars as far as I can see behind me, but in front of us around the corner, apparently an ambulance. Look how red my nose is.
That's why I told you to put sunscreen on.
Oh my God. It's gonna look awful in the video.
You have to keep putting sunscreen.
Anyway, we're not
Flippy
really
down.
sure what happened. We'll let you know.
So I didn't go close enough to get footage because I was afraid if they stopped that traffic and let us go, then I'd be standing on the side of the road with these cars whizzing by,
Yeah.
kind of blocking the whole right side of the road. That's why I didn't keep going, because I didn't want to walk right up into the scene.
A real reporter would have.
Are there like Yellowstone? Yeah. Crazy that there's even enough like room. It's like hanging off the cliff. The back of the ambulance is hanging off of the cliff.
What if he's gonna show Well, occasionally when you edit these videos, you come to the realization that you haven't really recorded any kind of a closing for the video. And that is the case here. So here I am, editing this a few months later. I don't have a lot left here to help tell the story, just a few random clips, being silly in the car, clowning around as always. Did a lot of driving today. Basically, we left the park, checked into a really cool cabin. Had some bizarre finding next door to it, but
I've never in my life seen so much garbage.
we're also looking for some wildlife and was surprised to actually find it in town.
So we just had dinner at this place here, and we're kind of moseying around the neighborhood. And who did we find here? Is he an elk or what is he? Moose?
She is an elk.
He's an elk. She's an elk.
And after a quick bite to eat, we headed back into the park for a little bit. It's starting to get dark, but we had a nice ride. And we're surprised to find, I don't know how many there were. There were dozens of elk right there by Mammoth Hot Springs. I think next time I go to Yellowstone, I might try to stay in this area. A little closer to the wildlife and somewhere you could wander out at night with your camera and get a few shots. I got a few bad ones from the car. Just leave it at that. Tomorrow morning's going to be interesting. We actually see some wildlife right outside of the cabin. I'll leave that as a little cliffhanger. Thanks for checking it out. I'll share a couple of images here from Mammoth Hot Springs and I don't know, a couple of other images maybe I haven't shared yet. It's a nice relaxing day, a lot of driving. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking it out. As always, there'll be more on all of this later. Thanks again.